Hello, my name is Tyler Stone.
And I'm Rayy Augustine. Welcome to Real Talk on KDPS.
Today we'll be looking at Pacific Rim. Written and directed by Guillermo del Toro, this film serves as a love letter to the giant monster and robot movies that inspired him as a child.
The movie begins in the final days of a war between humanity and giant alien monsters known as kaiju. It follows Riley Beckett, a washed-up former hero who, along with untested rookie Mako Mori, is called back into action to pilot a decommissioned Jaeger, a giant robot designed to fight the kaiju, in a final desperate mission to save the human race.
This film has everything you want in a summer blockbuster. It has heart, humor, great action, and most importantly, it's just plain fun.
It is pretty cool.
So Ray, what did you think of this film?
Well, first things first, I'd just like to point out that this is an absolutely gorgeous film. The cinematography was fantastic, with great use of light and color. I've seen it a couple times now, and with each viewing, I'm constantly noticing new details that just add to the experience.
I agree. This film is absolutely stunning visually. The special effects in particular are fantastic. Everything looks photoreal, and it's easy to forget that much of what's on screen is computer generated. The film also makes extensive use of practical effects, which seamlessly blend with its computer generated images. It's almost impossible to tell where set ends and CG begins.
The film isn't just eye candy, though. It also has a great soundtrack. Written and conducted by Ramin Djawadi, the score features elements of classical music as well as modern rock and pop cues, and does a fantastic job of conveying the mood of each scene and building a feeling of suspense throughout. This fun soundtrack will have your inner 10-year-old pumping their fist with excitement.
The great thing about this film, though, is that it isn't just about the spectacle. The story is rooted in its human characters who, while somewhat cliche for the genre, are still able to emotionally hook you into the story. While they are a bit one-dimensional personality-wise, they more than make up for this in memorability and performance.
The international cast helps drive the film's main theme of unity against a common enemy. The cast includes veterans like Ron Perlman and Idris Elba, who both give some of the best performances of the film. My personal favorite characters are the scientists Gottlieb and Newt.
Played by Bern Gorman and Charlie Day.
Charlie Day? More like Charlie Bay, am I right?
Sure. Anyway, these characters are pretty flatly developed, but are extremely memorable and entertaining. Compared to some of the film's secondary characters, the leads, played by Charlie Hunnam and Rinko Kikuchi, aren't quite as memorable, but they still serve the story quite well and have extremely satisfying character arcs. Hunnam and Kikuchi both give great performances, although there are times when you can tell that Hunnam is trying to disguise a British accent, and as a result comes off a bit flat.
There are a few problems with the writing too. The dialogue isn't always the greatest, and there are a few small plot holes and lapses in logic.
Seriously, who forgets they have a sword until the end of the fight? That's the first thing I'd use.
There are a few scientific inaccuracies too. For example, the film mentions that the kaiju are clones, but if they're clones, then why do they all look different? And how is Otachi pregnant? Also, dinosaurs did not have a second brain in their butt. Come on, Newt, get it together. I thought you were a scientist.
This brings up the main issue that you could have with this film. The fact is that if you have difficulty with suspension of disbelief, then a movie about giant robots fighting giant monsters is probably not for you.
However, if you can cast off your inhibitions and accept the movie for what it is, you'll find a film that is overall extremely good and extremely fun.
I agree. While Pacific Rim has some flaws that bring down the movie, they never sink it. With charm, humor, and a great sense of fun, we're rating Pacific Rim a category 4 out of 5.
And now all that remains is to finish the review off in character.